Jaron Ennis gets the corner mercy stoppage against Eimantas Stanionis. It was just like 30 minutes ago, I dropped a video with my prediction. I favored in. Check that video out to see the reasons why, but I am going to offer a breakdown to this fight. This is your boy JG. This is the Punch Report. Like, subscribe, hit that bell icon to be notified when the latest and greatest drops in the content. Let's get into the breakdown. For those of you who didn't see it, it was a DAZN broadcast. Main event, Eimantas Stanionis, Jaron Boots Ennis, two undefeated fighters. The primary points I dropped were this for the prediction. I favored Jaron Ennis to get this fight done. I was not a big fan of the high guard up against a fighter that is very dynamic offensively, who's also a very effective body puncher. This fight reminded me a lot of your Dennis Ugas versus Errol Spence Jr., where you liked Ugas. He had, nice little win streak. He beat Manny Pacquiao, but he's a high guard fighter. He didn't really have the dynamic flair of the Cuban style, despite being a Cuban fighter. And Errol Spence Jr. just really peppered him in the body, brutalized him upstairs, then got him out of there. For Jaron Boots Ennis, it was a lot of the same. Now, I want to make this caveat. For me, when I said, what can Eimantas Stanionis do to get it done against Jaron Ennis, it had a lot to do with the fact that Jaron Ennis leaves himself open, really be caught by really eye-catching shots. He did it in this bout, round 4 and 5. He got stunned with some shots, recovered nicely, returned fire. As he ascends the ladder to greatness and his level of competition increases, it's imperative that he really shores up that, defensive strategy. Stanionis does have good power. Roman Villa had really good power. Jaron Ennis wore that very well. He wore Stanionis' power very well tonight. You don't want to keep relying on having a granite chin or a tough chin as you climb the ladder, especially as a guy, if he continues to stay at 147, who's cutting a lot of weight. For Ennis, he needs to continue to kind of shore up ways to ensure he's just not eating big shots. And in this level of bout, championship level bout, undefeated fighters, and an Olympian in Stanionis, I get it, but he's getting caught clean, flush. And I just don't think that that's a recipe for continued success or longevity for Jaron Ennis. But back to his successes, he did everything I said he needed to do. Play the range game, combination punching, and Stanionis just had a poor defensive style for him. He was tailor-made for Jaron Ennis. The jab was there. He was effective in landing it. And the telecast, shout out to them. I don't know if they knew exactly what they were looking at. Jaron Ennis was a clearly bigger fighter. His precision punching, not his power, got that done, especially to the body. He made solid investments from round 1 to stoppage. It was evident that Stanionis had a really, really good jab. It was affecting Jaron Ennis. But Jaron Ennis, for every 1 or 2 jabs that Stanionis would throw ridiculous combinations with left uppercuts, hooks to the body, hooks to the head. He was just dynamic offensively, like I mentioned before. And so for him and for me, this fight wasn't super difficult to call. I'm never going to be a fan of a high guard of a guy who has limited offense or can't switch to something different. A la Floyd Mayweather, he deployed a high guard a lot, but we also know he had really strong traditional defense as well as the Philly shell. If your defense is solely the high guard and you are in the ring or the squared circle against an offensive dynamo like the likes of Jaron Ennis, you're going to lose the fight. If the best you can do is shell up and protect your ears, Winky Wright, they mentioned Joshua Clottey, your Dennis Ugas, and a guy has a dynamic offensive style, you're going to lose. Unless you got crazy one-punch power, which Stanionis does not have. He has power. He does not have one-punch, crazy, God-tier power. He doesn't have that. And then you're letting someone who's much bigger than you are, with dynamic offensive styles, just get off on you. It's just kind of crazy. I think it was round 5, the round before the stoppage took place, which was round 6. They were trying to be cute and like, oh, Stanionis, he landed a couple right hands. Okay, yeah, he landed some right hands. He ate like 45 uppercuts for his trouble. So you guys got to be more realistic in the telecast. I understand that, I'm lying. I don't understand. I don't understand why we lie on the telecast. ESPN's notorious for this, but they won't have to worry about that anymore since Top Rank won't be there any longer. But Stanionis can have a moment, but if he gets hit with 65 shots in a round and lands 10, those moments don't mean shit. He's getting cooked by Jaron Boots Ennis. Entertaining fight. Both fighters there was no feeling out process. If you didn't see the fight, I'm sure someone will post it or you'll see it on YouTube, but there was no filling out process. They both got busy right away. The discrepancy took place around round 3, where you started to identify that Boots Ennis, his offensive prowess and his diversity in delivering punishment was next level. And Stanionis could not mount any additional offense behind a really effective jab. And so it just spelled disaster. I appreciate the game plan from Jaron Ennis, his corner. They vested in body from round 1 till the end of the fight. He got dropped to the body, like 11 shots to the body in a row in round 6. He goes down, he takes a knee, then he gets blasted up top again. He stumbles around the ring a little bit, goes to the corner. Shout out to his corner being responsible for a young fighter, 15 professional fights, now 16 professional fights in, saying, hey, I know you want to keep going. I know you want to continue to fight, but you getting your ass whooped and you getting hit with big shots on repeat. Stanionis is mad tough, but there's no need at that point in time to continue to take damage from Jaron Ennis, who looked like he had jogged around the park at that stage in the fight. He looked super fresh, though. And it looked like he was just getting going. He was talking to people, gesturing to the crowd in corners, and he was doing his thing. What's next for both these fighters? Virgil Ortiz is an option. I think the way that Bud Crawford, the way that Stanionis, the way that Jaron Ennis looked this evening, I would not favor Virgil Ortiz over a Jaron Ennis. This fight did take place at 147 pounds for 3 belts. Virgil Ortiz is at 54. We got to see what this weight cut looks like for Jaron Ennis. Can he do another round of this at 147 pounds? Is it best for him to move up to 54? The version of Jaron Ennis, I know we're probably not ever going to see this fight. I would not pick this version of him over Bud Crawford unless I see some, you got to clean up the defensive stuff, because Bud Crawford, he himself is a very, very sound puncher. You can find him too, but he's shown the ability to kind of hang tough in there, and he's violent. So this was a great showing for Jaron Ennis. Shake off the Chukazian fights, the Karen fights, shake those off. I like the Ramon Villa fight, so he did his thing there. And I think he reestablished himself. You're only good as your last performance. In this performance this evening, Jaron Ennis looked fantastic. Much respect, much love for one Eimantas Stanionis, undefeated no longer. Where he goes from here is, I think he looked comfortable at the weight. Maybe he stays there. If I want to get really crazy, and I know a lot of these guys have fights coming up, Boots Ennis against Devin Haney. If you love your son, Bill Haney, you will never let him fight Boots Ennis at 47. If you love your son, he will get slaughtered. He has nothing for Jaron Ennis. Ryan Garcia, I think, is a better fight. The only thing about Ryan Garcia, he does not have the polish. He has the X factor. He has a lethal left hook, and Jaron Ennis doesn't mind getting punched in his fucking beard. He got to switch that up. But that's a better fight, more compelling fight, because you got to respect the fact that heat is coming back your way. Or we see how a guy like Teofimo Lopez looks going up the ladder, 35, 40, 47. Could that be a viable fight? And that's just a big if Jaron Ennis decides to stay at 147 pounds. I don't know if that's going to be a possibility. Only time will tell. Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments section. Congratulations to Eimantas Stanionis and Jaron Ennis on a great fight. I think, Stanionis got dominated, but he showed up. He landed some big shots, and he never went away until he had to. Shout out to his corner for being responsible for the health and safety of their fighter. And shout out to Jaron Ennis for taking this fight very serious and understanding that this was a style that was going to allow him to have high levels of success, and ensuring that with that success and the opportunity that he went out and did what he was supposed to do, This is your boy JG. This is the Punch Report. Like, subscribe, hit that bell icon to be notified when the videos drop. What did you think of the performance? We out.